They have to make a deal because otherwise they're not going to be able to deal in the United States. And we want them involved. You're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. Tariff. I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary.
Boeing, once the symbol of American strength, is now grounded, and China just pulled the plug. In a stunning move, Beijing froze every Boeing deal, locking away over $20 billion in orders and leaving more than 140 jets stranded. But this isn't just about airplanes. Airbus and COMAC are racing to take over, and Trump's tariffs may have triggered a storm that could shake America's entire industrial future. Stay with us, because the real story is even bigger than you think. For years, China was one of Boeing's biggest and most important customers, making up almost 20% of its global jet deliveries. But in April 2025, everything changed. After the US slapped 145% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and tech products, China hit back hard by freezing all Boeing aircraft purchases. More than 140 Boeing jets, many already built and painted for Chinese airlines, are now sitting unused in storage hangars. This sudden freeze has left a giant $20 billion hole in Boeing's future sales pipeline, according to Goldman Sachs. Analysts say Boeing could lose up to 25% of its expected revenue from Asia by the end of this year alone. Some of the jets are being rerouted to other airlines, but many may never find buyers at all. Every grounded plane means lost jobs, wasted materials, and millions of dollars in storage costs. What was once a thriving partnership between Boeing and China has now turned into a major liability. Even worse, China's move signals a longer, deeper break that could take years for Boeing to repair, if it's even possible. And with China now turning to Airbus and its own aircraft makers, Boeing's crisis is only just beginning. As Boeing struggles, its rivals aren't wasting a second. Airbus, Boeing's biggest competitor, is already expanding its operations inside China. Its Tianjin final assembly line is now set to produce up to 96 jets every month by 2026, double its earlier output. Meanwhile, China's own aerospace giant, COMAC, is stepping onto the global stage. Their C919 aircraft has already secured over 1,200 orders, mostly from Chinese airlines. COMAC plans to build 150 jets per year by 2027, aiming to dominate the domestic market. Even Taiwan's China Airlines, once a loyal Boeing customer, has placed a $2.5 billion order for Airbus A350 jets. Airbus is quickly becoming the go-to choice for Asian airlines looking to avoid US supply risks. And while COMAC still depends on some Western technology today, China is moving fast to build its own engines and systems. Aviation experts now warn Airbus and COMAC could rewrite the global rulebook by 2030. If Boeing stays locked out much longer, Airbus and COMAC could dominate not just China, but also huge markets in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. Boeing's loss isn't just one country slipping away. It's a chain reaction that could tilt the entire balance of global aviation for decades to come. What's happening with Boeing is not just a quick revenge move by China. It's part of a much bigger plan that has been in motion for years. Under the Made in China 2025 and Aviation 2035 roadmaps, China has been working to build a fully self-reliant aerospace industry. COMAC's rise is no accident. The Chinese government has already committed over $72 billion in subsidies and research programs to speed up aircraft production, engine development, and safety systems. Their goal is simple: end dependence on Western aviation technology by the early 2030s. At the same time, China is pushing hard to export its jets across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America, offering lower prices and easy financing deals. Experts now warn that China's playbook is not just about competing with Boeing or Airbus. It's about becoming the global leader in aviation. Aviation insiders say that within 10 years, COMAC could supply a major share of all passenger planes flying in developing markets. This strategy could slowly push Western aerospace companies out of fast-growing regions. What looks like a trade war today could actually be the first step in a complete realignment of the global aviation map. Boeing's troubles are not staying inside the walls of the company. Across the United States, the impact is already spreading fast. Boeing supports about 140,000 direct jobs, but its supply chain touches over 1 million workers nationwide. These are the people building avionics, composites, jet engines, and even parts used in heavy trucks and electric vehicles. Now, many of them face layoffs, production freezes, and deep financial uncertainty. Boeing has already announced plans to cut over 8,000 jobs in Washington and South Carolina, with suppliers also beginning to announce slowdowns and furloughs. Beyond jobs, the financial blow could slow down critical innovation across the tech and aerospace industries. Boeing's commercial profits often fund research into fuel efficiency, lightweight materials, sustainable aviation fuels, and advanced satellite systems. Losing that money means slower progress not just for passenger jets, but also for electric flight, defense technologies, and even the future of space exploration. A new Morgan Stanley report warns that Boeing's China freeze could cut up to 0.3% from U.S. GDP growth by late 2025, a major drag at a time when the economy is already fragile. The longer this crisis drags on, the bigger and more permanent the ripple effects could become. And if Boeing's fall spreads to military contracts and NASA partnerships, the damage could haunt America's industrial base for decades, not just years. The problems at Boeing are not just an economic issue. They are quickly becoming a national security concern. Boeing is one of America's top defense contractors, building military aircraft like the KC-46 Pegasus tanker, advanced drones, and vital satellite systems. If Boeing's commercial side continues to lose billions, its ability to fund research and development for defense technologies will weaken. Already, a new Pentagon report from April 2025 warns that a financially unstable Boeing could delay key defense projects and leave the U.S. military exposed. Critical programs like aerial refueling tankers, stealth drones, and space surveillance satellites rely on Boeing's technology and expertise. If these programs slow down or lose funding, America's ability to project power globally could suffer serious setbacks. Aviation analysts are also warning that competitors like Airbus, heavily backed by European governments, will not face the same financial strain. Meanwhile, China is rapidly advancing its own military aerospace sector. Losing Boeing's edge could shift the balance of air power over the next decade. What started as a trade war over tariffs is now threatening to erode the very foundation of American security and technological dominance. The freeze on Boeing deals is not an isolated event. It's part of a much bigger storm caused by the escalating US-China trade war. In early April 2025, the Trump administration announced aggressive new tariffs of 145% on Chinese electric vehicles, solar panels, semiconductors, and other key products, aiming to protect American industries from what they called unfair competition. But instead of folding, China responded with precision, freezing Boeing's aircraft sales just 4 days later. This retaliation instantly locked away more than $20 billion in expected revenues and stalled over 140 aircraft deliveries. Behind the scenes, Trump's advisors scrambled to control the damage. Emergency meetings were held with Boeing executives, top defense contractors, and trade officials to map out a response. Leaked reports from Axios and Politico reveal growing panic inside the White House, with economic advisors warning that China's strategy could hit not only aviation, but agriculture, technology, and energy next. Wall Street reacted fast too. Boeing's stock dropped nearly 12% within 2 weeks, wiping out billions in market value. Analysts now warn that the trade standoff could shave up to 0.5% off U.S. GDP growth by early 2026 if it deepens. China's message is clear. It will target the heart of American economic power. And with Airbus and COMAC stepping in, every day lost makes it harder for Boeing and the United States to reclaim lost ground. Despite the massive challenges Boeing is facing, recovery is still possible, but it will not be easy. Company leaders are now shifting their focus toward emerging markets like India, Southeast Asia, and Africa, aiming to replace lost Chinese orders with new deals. Boeing projects that passenger traffic in these regions will grow by over 5% annually for the next decade, offering some hope. At the same time, Boeing is fast-tracking innovation efforts, pouring nearly $2 billion into modular aircraft designs, lightweight composite materials, and hydrogen-powered planes that could enter service by 2030. Lobbying efforts in Washington have also intensified, with Boeing executives urging lawmakers to negotiate tariff relief and offer export credit support to compete with Airbus and COMAC deals. However, analysts warn that rebuilding trust with major buyers will take years, not months, especially after the 737 MAX crises that still linger in public memory. Airbus is not slowing down either, expanding partnerships with Vietnam Airlines, Thai Airways, and several African carriers. Meanwhile, COMAC is aggressively pricing its C919 jets 15 to 20% cheaper than Western rivals to dominate emerging markets. Boeing's internal reports show that delayed supply chains and ongoing cost overruns could add $5 billion in unexpected expenses by 2026. Some experts predict it could take Boeing up to 15 years to fully recover its lost market position if political tensions continue. And if the US-China trade war deepens, Boeing's road back may turn into a long, uphill battle for survival in a changing global aviation landscape. Boeing's future now hangs in the balance, and America's dominance in the skies is facing its toughest challenge yet. Subscribe for more sharp breakdowns on trade, tech, and power shifts. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take.